Even when we got nothing to talk about, there's nowhere I'd rather be. 'Cause there's something about you and me just sitting around talking Scheetz.
Thank you, Dan Davidson. Talking Scheetz on the road following the Toronto Blue Jays. We're in LA. Thank you to United Sport and Cycle, my friend Kelly from there, for officially being my clothing sponsor for this trip with the powder blue Blue Jays jersey I wore proudly. I have a bit of I don't know what that is. I believe it's probably Nacho from the neighbor that was sitting beside me at the game. We'll get to that coming up. But anyway, United Sport and Cycle. Get your Blue Jays paraphernalia while it lasts, and hopefully a series lasts. It all depends on when you listen to this, of course. At this point, they're getting set for game number 2. Hi, Baillie.
Game number 2, game number 4.
Number 2 at home. Yeah, sorry.
Number 2 on the road.
Yeah, I'm a little bit
game
messed
number
up.
4,
after...
game number 2 in LA.
Yeah, okay, but who's counting? Well, I guess that's how they do count. That's how they decide a winner.
We are a bit, I wouldn't say we're jet lagged. You might be actually jet lagged. I haven't gotten on a plane in a while, but we're Jays lagged today. That is for sure. I think all of Canada has a bit. We said that our podcast is coming out a bit late because there's a Jays delay. I think that everyone at work today is on a bit of a Jays delay. And wherever you are, it's just everyone's running a bit slow after the late night last night.
Yeah, we were watching the game at Dodger Stadium last night, of course, and as it went on, inning after inning after inning, I said to all the Dodger fans, and that's all that was around me, go figure. I thought, there was a Blue Jays guy wearing a Guerrero jersey probably 3 or 4 rows in front of us all by himself, and he was literally the only Jays fan I could see. But to the left of us, down in the lower section, it sounded like there was always a "Let's Go Blue Jays" chant happening. I could never see the people that were doing it, but I would always try to join in, and quickly after I would join in, a whole bunch of people would swear at me in Spanish. I assume it was swears. It might have been "Let's Go Blue Jays" in Spanish, but I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it. But it was quite the ride, to put it mildly. Your mom and I, decided to come down and cheer on the Jays, and we were trying to decide how many games we would go to, and then the Blue Jays and the Dodgers decided to give us a couple of games in one, and so we're probably good.
That's a 2-for-1 deal at least. I mean, it didn't go the way that anybody in this country wanted, but you got your money's worth. You can't say that you got ripped off from that experience, certainly.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling, because we're on the Pacific time zone here. I was telling the Dodgers fans around us when we got into about the 14th inning. I said, it is like 2 in the morning in Toronto right now, and I think the game ended. It was 3 in the morning for poor people in Toronto. And everybody was like, so where do you live? And none of them had heard of Edmonton, but I said, we're actually physically closer to Los Angeles from Edmonton than we are Toronto, which is a fact. But boy, last night it was all about Canada and trying to pull off that big win, for sure.
They had a giant watch party going at Rogers Arena in Toronto, and by the end they were showing it on the broadcast, which of course you didn't see because you were there. No. But it was the stadium was full of Jays fans, and by the end it was dwindling down a bit, but a lot of them stuck around, waited it out, not even to watch the game in real life, but just at the stadium as a watch party. So there are some very, very dedicated fans.
Which we've seen, of course, in Edmonton as well. The team doesn't actually have to be in the stadium or the arena for the fans to pretty awesome. All right. Well, trending, it has to be what's going on with the Jays, and it's brought to you by Weatherwood.ca. The Weatherwood Ranch is located just outside of Stony Plain in Spruce Grove, and we actually you put out, I'm not trying to take any credit here, you put out a reel about Weatherwood Ranch. You can check it out on all of our social media platforms, and it's a beautiful place. Words can't describe it. You got to see it visually, and check it out at weatherwoodranch.ca. Again, it's just the best place for your next event, whether it's a wedding or anything else. As a matter of fact, maybe your watch party for the Blue Jays.
Jays watch party, exactly where I was going with that.
Exactly.
Such a cool space and such a vibe, a rustic vibe that you don't really get anywhere else.
All right, go to weatherwoodranch.ca. So yeah, we'll talk more about this Blue Jays experience that we had. Again, your mom reluctantly she doesn't like going into enemy territory because she's a care, but she's not a care. She really just wants everybody to get along and have fun.
She's a peacekeeper, for sure.
And she knows her husband starts to get into the zone when it comes to whether I was watching the Oilers on the road or the Jays in this case. I told her, Care, you know what? Don't take this the wrong way, everybody, but the Jays are incredible underdogs in this series. I didn't go in expecting them to win this. A lot of, we'd love for them to win it, but the Dodgers are just this high-priced. They've got the best player probably that's ever played the game. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Jays. So I said, I'm not going in with the same expectations I would have when the Oilers played in Los Angeles against the Kings. And I said, I'll be fine. So I get into there, and we sit in the back bleachers. So we're in the bleachers in the outfield, and I'm glad we chose those seats because there was all sorts of seats basically available for the same price, and they're all either at the top of the stadium or in the bleachers. And I'm like, I think that's going to be the place. That'll be the place that you'll feel more in the game than if you're 9,500 feet in the air or whatever it is, right? So we chose the bleachers, which, by the way, apparently during the regular season are like all you can eat nachos in that bleacher section. But
wow,
I don't
that could have been nice.
I don't think they had them at this game. But we rode the bus to get to. You got to go through to Chavez Ravine, and it's crazy. This park is historic. Dodger Stadium is it's iconic. It's
old,
kind of archaic, but it's iconic. And they've kind of kept it that way. So we get into the stadium. We got there almost 2 hours early, so we started to wander around and just kind of experience things. And we had not eaten all day. So I said to your mom, what do you want? You want a Dodger dog? She's a big fan of the hot dog, right? That's one of her meals of choice. So I got her a Dodger dog, and I got her a water. And I have not, we can share with the Scheetz heads, I have not been feeling the best lately. I've had tummy issues, big tummy issues. And let's put it this way. A few people, I talked about streaking on the field. Well, it wouldn't have been streaking naked because I just have been trying to, Imodium has been the sponsor of my show so far in Los Angeles. Yeah, I've had 1,000 of them just trying to keep myself in. So you go to this game, you've already got tummy troubles. I feed Karen a Dodger dog. I haven't had anything to eat all day. I get, of course, a large Diet Coke because, tummy troubles, Diet Coke will settle that.
Yeah, it's like ginger ale.
And we wander around the stadium, and there's the odd Blue Jay fan, but we're not seeing a lot. And who comes up to us but Kent Morrison from the CTV Morning News? And Kent Morrison is there, one of my favorite guys. Good-looking guy, too. And it was neat to see him before the game. So we talked to him and his brother that was there. They were just flying down for the one game, and then we carried on. And we got to our seats an hour before the game. This is and they're bleacher seats, so they have a back, but there's no physical seat. It's just a bench, right? And so we sit down, and I'm like, okay, well, Karen says, this isn't bad. At least I got a back on this thing. And so we're an hour before the game just soaking all the stuff in, and it's really going well, and we're having lots of fun, and people just continue to join us in our row. And then we start seeing the other rows. And the other rows, the people are so crowded. It's like there's no way they literally almost have to put their arms around each other just to fit in this section, because there's obviously, when they built this stadium in 1961, I would say that people were smaller. Maybe, I don't know, but they're big for now. And the bottom line is, people kept joining our section, our row. And it just kept getting more crowded and more crowded and more crowded. So all of a sudden, you are packed in there like sardines. And you're there an hour early, but for what you expect will be a 3.5 hour game, right?
Yeah.
And you're packed. Your mom's had a Dodger dog, and I've just been reminded by your mom, who's off to the side here. She said you actually looked for the tickets for this game and did more research of this game than you ever did buying a house. Because I just wanted it to be important. I wanted to be right. So the reason I set up this packed situation, Baillie, is because then you can imagine, spoiler alert, being packed like sardines for we were in those seats for 7.5 hours without leaving them.
Oh my gosh. I was going to ask about the food and drink situation, because at some point in the game that gets closed down.
I think it does, but we never went for any food or drinks.
You didn't get up?
No, it was so hard to get up. I mean, people around us got up, but
you didn't go to the washroom the whole time?
Your mom went to the washroom in about the 16th inning for the first time.
Wow.
And I never went. I never went once.
So your stomach issues held up?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they did.
That's good news.
I never went once. That could have been
a problem for your entire section had that not been sorted out.
I was scared that if I went near a washroom, my colon would have known it was close to one, so I just stayed right away from it.
Oh my gosh.
So we sit down. This guy beside us, his name is Chris. He is hilarious. He's excited because my name is Chris, so we're having fun. And then Cecilia sits beside me the rest of the game as people continue to just get added into our section. And Cecilia,
did you have a number, like a seat number?
Yes, you did, but nobody.
You were just the row, and whatever happened in the row happened.
However it fit. But yeah. It's not like I was sitting in just my little 6 area. I'm probably more of a 6.5 guy. And there's a few others of us. There was quite a few 6'7s in that group. So,
6'7s.
So we had just, and everybody around me are Dodger fans, and of course I promised your mom I wouldn't take it seriously, and then of course I started to take it seriously, and the fun part about these people is they thought it was cool. We came all the way from Canada, but when the Dodgers would score or do something great, they were all over me. They wanted me to high five them, and then when we started to score and we had the lead, that place was. They looked like they were at a funeral. They were so quiet. And of course, I'm trying to get them to high five me when Guerrero scores, and no chance. They're not putting their hands up. But as soon as they score, they're like all over me. Which, I mean, again, I'm in their ballpark.
You're in their house. Do you think that the people around you overall were like really diehard Dodgers fans, or were they people that kind of bought into the fact? I mean, I guess if you're a Dodgers fan, you're always a fair weather fan because they're usually always good. But did these people were they really passionate about the team around you?
They were really passionate. Yeah, they were, but I didn't feel like their baseball knowledge was as high as mine. And I know that sounds elitist. But I was looking to talk like baseball with some people, right? Because I'm like, okay, well now we're walking him because a lefty's coming up and things like that, and they were there more to party. Like if I didn't have any drinks, the people around me, they made up for that.
And the other thing is like we have to say it how it is. They live in Los Angeles. There's so much to do other than other than be a fan of sports.
They were passionate Dodger fans. They were. They absolutely were. And what they want to do is win this series at home. And like I told your mom, if we should have won that game last night, it would have broke their hearts because then they couldn't win it at home. And I think that that would be a big difference. We'll see where the series goes from here. But there was, again, Brad Paisley sang the anthem, the American anthem, and he's should we
talk about the Canadian anthem first? Because people online are not happy with it.
Well, he kind of sang it like he'd stop, and like it wasn't very smooth. Was that the issue? Because
the artist's name was JP Saxe, who I think I've heard like a couple of pop songs from him before, like on the radio and whatever. I don't know much about him, but immediately the second I heard that man start singing, I was like, oh, I'll open Twitter because I know they're not going to be happy, and they were not happy. There are Jays fans saying that the discrepancy between the Canadian and American national anthem is the reason that we lost that game. So
okay.
It wasn't because all of our big hitters were out of the lineup by the time extra innings came. It was because of JP Saxe's rendition of "O Canada."
Yeah. And I'm not trying to get people going here, but your mom, it's so funny because she was so scared. She told me today that the younger lady, probably in her 30s, was just ahead of me. She did not remove her hat for the Canadian anthem, but she removed it for the American anthem. And she says, I am so glad you didn't see that. And she's right, because if I would have seen that, we would have probably had to have a little bit of a conversation. I was already in game mode, so I didn't notice. And that's not, I'm sure every 99% of the American people took their hats off, but she didn't. So your mom said, "I am so happy you didn't see that." I'm like, "Please don't look, please don't look, please don't look."
There's a chance that she doesn't know Canada is a country.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
I will say JP Sachs is a Canadian artist, and I'm sure he tried his very best. I'm not here to slander him. I thought he did an okay job, but people on Twitter were heated.
So we're not having much luck. Chantal Kraviatsik, people weren't very happy with hers at the Four Nations Cup. So, get Michael Bublé to sing that thing. And
although Michael Bublé is a not a Dodgers fan certainly, but part of the Dodgers lore, given the walk-up songs, which we wanted to talk about too.
Yeah, you know what? Baseball is so cool with walk-up songs, and if the NHL, if I could do one thing to the NHL right now to tell them to make the game experience better, is like have NHL goal songs for every player.
I am passionate. I'm passionate about that too.
If Connor scores a goal, like let it be, what's that new huge hit from Taylor Swift that I'm hearing everywhere now?
The Fate of Ophelia?
Yes, Ophelia. I was going to say, Ophelia, you're breaking my heart.
I think his would be a Nickelback song, probably.
But it's such a vibe with the music. It is such a vibe. And they've all got their songs, and every time they come up. But when Shohei Ohtani comes up, who is going down in history as the best baseball player ever, he will. He might go down as the best athlete ever. When he comes up, it's a Michael Bublé song, and it just starts. It goes, and I feel good. Do, 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 do. And your mom said that literally you get goosebumps, chills, because you're like, he does feel good, so let's walk him.
Let's just let him walk.
But they got songs for the pitchers. They've got and they do all of this stuff. It's such. I mean, it needs to be a good vibe because baseball. Let's face it. There's so much downtime, especially in a game like that. But oh man, it's just the music just adds so much to it. And in Los Angeles, the music just sounds better for some reason. Like it just does, right? So
if you could have a walk-up song, what would it be?
Yeah, Country Roads, Take Me Home to the Place I Belong. I think that would work. Yeah. What about you?
I have thought about this a lot, and I think that mine would be 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. Imagine, okay, the stadium is quiet, and then it's just like dun 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 dun. Dun. I think it would be such a good one. It would be like I think that if there is an MLB player listening to this, 9 to 5. Think about it. I think that the beginning of it would be so good for a walk-up song.
I love it. I love that idea. So the game, I'm just trying to think of all the other the highlights. Do you have any other questions about the experience?
Well,
I mean, it would.
We touched on Brad Paisley, but I think we should dive a little bit deeper into that one because it's crazy. I saw Brad Paisley was singing the anthem. I love Brad Paisley. Of course, he did his little guitar things through the whole song. I didn't think much of it, and then it came out that Brad Paisley has sang the American national anthem 4 times for a World Series game, and in each of them, the games have gone into extra innings. So
that's crazy.
He's like some kind of anthem curse, where it makes games go long, which is really crazy. He sang the national anthem for the World Series game with the Red Sox and Dodgers in 2018 that went 18 innings as well.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's how does that happen, right? So, I mean, I bet you the players, as soon as I see him coming, they're like, oh no, this is not going to be good. Related to the music, I felt sorry for the organist last night, like, because they have an organist that just goes constantly, getting the fans going. That organist will literally probably, have blisters on the tips of their fingers from the game. We did a 14-inning stretch, and then the guy behind me, his name was Israel, and he was loud. He was funny, but he was scary, and he was loud. And he just kept screaming in our ears. And then we had Cecilia beside us screaming in our ears. And she had the moves, right?
Yeah, she's dancing. There's so much good music.
And so she was just like, she's basically grinding against me like the whole game. When they were winning, not grinding against me, but like bumping me the whole time. And like not grinding, bumping, more of a bump. I mean, it was a great experience. Don't get me wrong, but the fella at the hotel here, he said, "You were at the game last night?" I said, "Yeah, we were." He says, "You going tonight?" I said, "No, we're going to take a break." And I said, "We're probably just going to watch it in the hotel room." And he says, "Oh, really? Don't you want to go out and watch it at a bar?" And I'm like, "No, I probably had enough of Dodger fans for a while." And I get it. And there was not one moment that was bad by any means, but it was just
it's hard to be in enemy territory sometimes.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I think that like we can't fully understand it because we are like being an Oilers fan in Edmonton, we are like that too. Imagine being a fan of any other team watching at Rogers Place. Like it would be so painful for anyone else.
Well, I can't imagine. I tell the story of years ago when I went down to Dallas and the Oilers were playing the Stars of whatever year it was. It was like late 90s, early 2000s. And we were there as Oiler fans, and everybody around us at that time was like, "Wow, you came all the way from Canada? That's cool. Look, Daddy." I remember we were in the bathroom, and I was standing at the urinal and this little boy said, "Look, Daddy, an Oilers fan," and they were so just non-confrontational. Then we came back to Edmonton, and I saw some poor girl wearing a Darryl Sador jersey, which I just assumed because he's local from Fort Saskatchewan, I believe, is probably a relative, but it was a young girl, and I saw some Oilers fans chase her right into the bathroom yelling at her, right? So, I mean, fans can, every organization has those kind of fans, right? So, but you know what, it was a good experience. I'm just like, please win, but you're standing the whole time for like 6.5 hours, and again, we got there an hour early, 2 hours early, but we got in our seats an hour early, so you just can't believe it's happening when you're there. But I'll say this: it was the most spectacular sporting event I have ever attended, like just as far as just the experience goes, and your heart pounding the entire time and just wanting to see it work out for Canada's team.
As someone who watched on the couch at home in my living room, it was so tense even watching at home. I can't imagine what it would have been like to be there. But for us, obviously, Renato and I and Leona were chilling and watching the game, and again, it's not a super late game. Leona's up, she's having dinner, we're having a great time, and then it got to a point in the extra innings where I'm like, she's a late night baby, but this baby needs to go to bed. And it's producer Renato and I looking at each other being like, which one of us is willing to miss the next inning to put this baby to bed? And it was a little bit of a standoff in our household, but we kind of traded off, and he did the diaper and everything else to get her prepped for bed, and then I did the actual get her down for bed. So we broke it up, and we didn't miss anything anyway. We think we put her to bed in the 12th inning, and we still had an hour and a bit of the game to go. But at the time it was like, there is not enough of a commercial break. There's not enough time between innings. There's this baby needs to go to bed, and we can't just let her sit here till 2 a.m. So that was kind of our struggle with the game, was just figuring out when we could, and both of us were so scared to miss anything happening in the game. We were so scared. There was a couple times in the Oilers playoffs where there was inopportune diaper changes, where we missed overtime goals and things like that. So it's different. Being a sports fan as a parent is a very different experience than it used to be. I will say that much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, being a sports fan of a grandparent is pretty simple because you
can peace out.
But we didn't. Yeah, there was no chance. I and me, like when my frustration with Oiler fans in playoff games, 5 minutes left in the period, they're leaving their seats to go get a beer, which teach their own. But what are you doing? You're gonna miss something. You could miss history. You could miss Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl scoring the greatest goal in NHL playoff history for a beer. It doesn't make any sense to me. But so there was no way I was getting out of that seat, because if that moment happened, that I was there moment, I just couldn't miss it. And your mom, she hung in there till the 16th inning, and I just want to say that man, what a trooper. Seriously,
she is, because she likes the Jays, but she is not as dedicated a sports fan as you, and she goes along with you on your crazy journeys. And it looked like she had a good time too. She looked very cute in her hat. She looked great,
and she was, don't kid yourself, towards the end, she was squeezing my arm when those pitches were coming.
She can get into it. She was
into it more than she'll ever admit. And I told her, 3 or 4 times. I told her the one time when they pitched to Shohei Ohtani, I said, don't pitch to him, don't pitch to him. Boom, out it goes. Yeah. And then when Freddie Freeman came up, who's Canadian, by the way, comes up to bat in the 18th inning, I said, the fans were chanting as they always do, Freddie, Freddie, Freddie. I said, he's putting it in the porch. And it was like, I got it out of my mouth, and it was over the fence, and they'd had a bunch of other chances just before that to put it over the fence. Just the way it was, we probably weren't going to score. But we high-fived all of our friends from around us. They were all happy. We were, whatever, disappointed, but they fought the great battle, and they did themselves. And I know there's people that say that most of the team is either American or the Dominican or Mexican, and we've only got Vladdy as our Canadian player, but they're still representing the entire country, right?
Mm-hmm. I do wonder how many people were still there by the end. Like how many people would you say left percentage-wise? Because people do ultimately, I know that this is like a historic baseball game, but people do have lives and kids and jobs.
I'd say 5% left, probably.
Wow.
It was good because they learned their lesson. In 2018, this, as the story goes, the game that was tied for the world's longest World Series game, they said that when the home run was hit, you could see the picture, or a picture is taillights, a whole bunch of taillights that are leaving the parking lot, because it is an absolute disaster to get in and out of that place.
I went to a regular season game there, and I think it took us over an hour to get a cab out, and it was just it's kind of on its own little island there.
And it's just got a very, very, very limited entrance. There's one entrance in and out, and it's Los Angeles, right? And there's 45,000 people traffic there or whatever. So, but it was, anyway, the experience was great. So many people said, you got your money's worth. The tickets were not cheap, especially with the Canadian exchange. But we did get our money's worth for sure. Obviously a Blue Jays win would have made it even better, but that's all right. Hopefully they can find a way. And no matter what happens, they've already done better than most professional analysts would have suggested.
Thought they were going to. Obviously, for sure. You can't go 18 innings and tell me that these aren't two extremely close teams, right? Yeah. Like it is quite a battle. I'm interested to see what happens in the next game here. Like, are they sleepy? Like, I'm sleepy. Yeah. You're sleepy. Yeah. Are the players sleepy? I hope Shohei Ohtani is very sleepy on the pitcher's mound.
I doubt he will be, but
he doesn't.
And even during the game last night, towards the end, when the innings would change, the players would wait till like the last second to come out, and they were not running out; they were walking out.
Tired.
And I mean, it's easier than playing hockey for 2 games. Or soccer for an extended period of time, but you're standing there. Like I said, we were tense and emotionally drained, so it just been crazy for them.
I think it's the emotions more than, obviously, especially for the pitchers, the physical tax of playing that much baseball is crazy, but the mental, just how many of those, especially extra innings, where like people were on base and it was coming down to the last pitch. It was so emotionally tense. I know that where my priorities are, because I kept thinking about, are the players, like, are they getting snacks? Are people getting snacks? And the other thing is, coming from a background of working behind the scenes in sports, I'm thinking about all the people throughout the digital teams and the media teams and all of those places that are just working so long. I saw Hazel May tweeted, "Can someone please bring us pizza?" in the extra innings, because you don't mentally or physically prepare. You don't eat enough food to work that long. Like, there were so many people yesterday just doing double the work they normally do, and by the end you're just gassed.
And just the people that work at the stadium, right? And the bus drivers and everybody like that. We tried to find Hazel May, like, to get a picture of her, like on the field. Couldn't see her. Saw David Ortiz, the Yankees lose guy.
Did you see Justin Bieber?
We did not see Justin Bieber. No.
He was there in a light blue Bieber jersey, which I loved. I loved that he was repping the Biebs while being the Biebs. It was just really good.
Many of our Scheetz heads would not be aware that there is a guy named Bieber that plays for the Jays. So that's fun. So let's go Jays. I think that probably wraps that part of the show up. Brought to you again by our good friends at United Sport and Cycle. Thank you to Kelly for everything he's done. step up in a huge way in all sorts of different things. Done a bunch of things with Alberta Dreams, the charity organization I work with. So just a really, really good guy. All right. Good Scheetz now is brought to you by Cook County Saloon, which is just down the road on 100 and I guess it would be Gateway Boulevard from United Sport and Cycle. Cook County Saloon and Steakhouse now. They got a steakhouse, Baillie.
Yeah, and the food is amazing. You can go there and have an amazing meal and then stick around for some dancing. Dance off the steak afterwards, which is like actually my perfect day. If I can get some steak and mashed potatoes and then dance it out after, that's like, it's perfect.
Okay. And you know what? It'll be Halloween there too. They'll have a great Friday and Saturday night at Cook County. Hopefully there'll be a couple of ball games that will be on the big screens there as well. We'll see where that goes. But Halloween at Cook County Saloon have been awesome, fun. Dressing up and going out to the bars is it's something that every person in their 20s should do, maybe 30s too, I don't know, but it's a ton of fun. Yeah,
I love
exactly.
Halloween, and that is part of my bullsheets and some other things coming up. But yeah, I think there's no better place to celebrate than Cook County Saloon this weekend.
All right, what's your good Scheetz, Baillie?
Well, this is related to staying up until 2 a.m. last night watching a Blue Jays game and waiting to do a podcast. We should talk about that too, because we had promised the Scheetz heads that we were going to record right after the game to get the initial reactions. I think it was some kind of karma for us promising that we had to then there was one point, I think it was like the 14th inning, I said, we're not doing this. Like there's no way this is going to work. But either way, even without recording the podcast, we didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I have been trying these super protein plus coffees from Costco. I actually am drinking one right now, so this is convenient. This is not sponsored, but if you do want to, why is it? There we go. Oh, I feel like a real influencer here.
First plug free.
First plug free super coffee protein. Protein and coffee, the combination for me is my good Scheetz. I try to hit my protein goals in a day. I don't always have a ton of time to eat breakfast or lunch, honestly. So it's nice to be able to get protein in, but then also caffeine. It does two things at once for me. There's also like lots of protein coffee recipes online and people do different things. So I'm interested if any Scheetz heads have recipes or other protein coffee suggestions for me. Right now I'm trying this one from Costco and I'm liking it a lot. Keeps you caffeinated and full at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be real boring here, but good Scheetz is Halloween on a Friday.
Yes.
I think, again, Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday if they could do it. They should just move it around the calendar and have it on a Saturday every year for the kids, for the adults, and everybody else in between. I know it kind of works that the kids can go out on their night and then the parents can do their own party on a Saturday night or whatever, but it is just so much better when it happens on a weekend, right? As far as that goes, I think it's great. So, yeah, calendar. Thank you, calendar, for working out this year and I assume next year. I hope it's not a leap year. Is it a leap year next year? We get a bounce past Saturday. That would be bad for Halloween.
I don't know. Sunday Halloween is not ideal.
No, it's the worst of all Halloweens. Sunday Halloween. But it does happen for sure. Okay. So do you have any more good Scheetz or can we move on to bullsheets?
We can move on to bullsheets because that is extremely related to my bullsheets, which is people dressing up super early just to get their costumes out on social media before everyone else. I saw this past weekend, which is, again, when Halloween's on a Friday, there's no reason to celebrate Halloween super early. Like October 26th, what are we doing? My Instagram and TikTok are flooded with costumes and Halloween parties. I'm like, guys, Halloween's on a weekend. There's no need to be dressing up so early. But now with how everyone posts their costumes and things like that, people want to get ahead of it. And I'm like, I think we need to respect the sanctity of a Friday Halloween and everyone do it on Friday, personally. I know that people have scheduling problems and things like that, but that's my bullsheets.
All right. You're not going to let us know what you guys are dressing as? I know I've seen the family all dressed individually, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
One thing about me is I'm going to go hard for Halloween every year of my life that I've ever been born, but I'm never going to prepare with adequate time. So right now we are in crunch time for me in terms of I'm always putting together kind of homemade costumes, and it is, yeah, my vision is always a little bit bigger than my time that I have. So I'm kind of at the Halloween sweatshop right now, but I think it's going to work out. We will definitely share some images on Talking Scheetz. I do also, now that we're talking about Halloween, this is the opposite of a bullsheets. My good sheets last week was babies and pumpkins. Our Talking Scheetz inbox has been flooded with the cutest pictures of babies and pumpkins, and thank you so much. It makes my whole life. Yeah, I knew the Scheetz heads would come through, but it makes me feel so much better about having a big kid now, seeing all these cute little babies and their pumpkins. It's great.
Okay.
That's another good Scheetz thrown into bull sheets.
I'm going to do a quick bullshit. Speaking of Halloween, shrinkflation, and now the small chocolate bars. This is an American one, which, of course, because we're in Anaheim, and they were handing these out at the hotel. I think these are bigger maybe than the Canadian Kit Kat.
They look pretty big. Ones.
It looks fair size, but because I know that the ones in Canada are much smaller. Shrinkflation is completely a bullshit thing. You know, they think they're getting us because everything is getting so much smaller, and they're jacking up the prices. So make sure that you fill up those trick-or-treat bags with I don't know if kids do they use bags, or do they use, I guess some of them have little jack-o'-lantern little plastic kind of buckets, things like that, ice cream pails. Get a sleeping bag and fill that puppy up. What a great
pillow sack.
Man, I loved Halloween as a kid. We'd come home and I loved it when we'd come home and just empty out our loot and just start eating it. I loved it as a dad too, because I'd just wait till the candy got home and I'd empty it out and start eating it, and my kids would get so angry at me. I remember. So Leona's not going to really understand, but every day's Halloween for her. She dresses up all the time, so she'll be good. She
dresses herself up. She's gonna I think she's probably gonna have a good time. I've been trying to teach her trick or treat, but right now it's more like So we'll see. We've got a few days to finesse it, but she hasn't quite figured it out yet. I guess I'm just saying all good Scheetz and bull Scheetz, but another good Scheetz is people who pass out full-size chocolate bars. You know, those are the real ones. I know that times are tough financially right now, so like no pressure. But if you are able to be one of those households that gives the good size full chocolate bars, then just know like it's appreciated. I remember as a kid in the country, full-size chocolate bars were standard. And then I talked to my friends that go trick-or-treating in the city, and they're like, what do you mean you got 50 full-size chocolate bars? I'm like, it's what country people do.
Well, it's easier
it's
too
easy
for
because
country people.
you have 4 kids. In the city, sometimes it can be 300, and
you don't go to Ellerslie Road there, that one area where there's like hundreds of kids and you can't get full-size chocolate bars out. But you're right.
Obviously, it depends on your place, but if you have the ability, it's such a flex.
And then you get so disappointed, like your mom and your sister-in-law, Leslie, because they get all prepared for it, and then 5 kids come, and it's like, no, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Even us, we get a lot of kids, but not as many as I'd like. I think that handing out candy is truly the best part about Halloween, and getting to see all the kids in their costumes. It is my favorite thing on earth. And for me, I don't care how old you are. If you are 17 years old and you are dressed up, you will get a chocolate bar from me for sure. A full-size chocolate bar.
Okay. All right, as we continue on with Talking Scheetz, again, from Los Angeles. Well, we're actually in Anaheim. Apparently there's a place called Disneyland around here. We randomly just kind of wound up here because...
Yeah, I wonder why you went to Anaheim.
Disneyland, what is going on there? Here's the deal. We've turned off the air conditioning because it's quite noisy in the room, and it's literally like 35 degrees here today. I know that's I shouldn't be complaining about that, but it's getting a little sweaty in here with my Jays jersey on. I want to talk about Londonderry Dodge and what a great week I had last week. I told you I was going to be sadly trading in my Jeep Wrangler. Man, I love that thing. The color was beautiful. It was just such a great Jeep. It really was. And it was perfect for the summer. And Jamie hooked me up with a Londonderry Dodge 2026 Ram Rebel. And this truck is the nicest thing I've ever driven. By far.
I think, yeah.
And
I think it might be nicer than both of our houses.
I'm driven, well, it's got 2 screens. It's got a screen for the passenger, if you can believe it.
It is so high tech. It is so spacious. I had the privilege of sitting in the back seat. And again, I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'10". I felt tiny back there. Like it is so spacious and comfortable. It is
feels like a limousine in the back. Yeah.
The sunroof that goes all the way to the back, that's so rare in a giant truck. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's so cool. So thanks. You can get one of those as well. You can get the 2025s. It's that time of year where they're trying to get rid of the 2025s, so they will give you the best deal in the area. And of course, you love the vehicle that you drive as well.
Yes, the 2025 Jeep Compass Trailhawk. It is perfect. Again, things are getting a bit chillier here. We're looking into getting some icy road conditions. I feel confident in our Jeep Compass Trailhawk that we're going to be great. So, yeah, check it out. Londonderry Dodge. Such a great family vehicle.
We've got a new sponsor, Baillie, to the show. It's my friend Ken Franchuk and the great people at Crystal Glass. They're bringing you community sheets. And had lunch with Ken last week, and he says, "Hey, I want to be part of your podcast. You guys do things for the community." And Crystal Glass, nobody does anything better for the community. And before we get to the community stuff, I do want to say the one bullsheets that we had driving down the interstate, number 5, on our way to Anaheim from Los Angeles. I got a rock in the windshield here in a rental car without insurance. That's going to leave a mark.
That's going to cost more than a Jays Dodgers ticket.
But I mean, nobody gets rocks in LA. Like nobody gets rocks in LA.
That's what I was going to say. There's no gravel. Where did this rock come from?
It was a gravel truck, and he must not have brushed off the rocks, and it just hit the corner and smashed it. And we have insurance for the vehicle, but I think you got to pay. You pay. They try to upsell you on all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need glass insurance. What's possibly going to happen here? Yeah, right. Anyway, it is what it is. If I had Crystal Glass here, we would have no issues at all. Thank you to Crystal Glass for being incredible and joining the Talking Scheetz podcast. We were in Josephburg on Saturday night, your mom and I, for the famous Josephburg chicken dinner. They've broke the world record. They have the largest chicken dinner ever. Like 2,100 people were fed back in, I think, 2003, if I'm not mistaken. There wasn't 2,100 people there, but it was a sold-out Moyer Arena in Josephburg as I hosted, and man, we just had an incredible night. There were so many Scheetz heads there, wonderful people that were supporting the community, and thousands was raised for the Josephburg Agricultural Society. Shout out to Brock and Chelsea for keeping me in line all night long, and it was just
not an easy job.
It was not an easy job, but we pulled it off. And then on Saturday, I've been talking about it for a while. It's the Purple Lights Gala I'll be hosting out in Drayton Valley. And it's a very, very important event. It's going to be dinner, dancing, silent auction in support of gender-based violence. So, again, they may still have a couple of tickets left. You can just Google it. They got a Facebook page. But the Purple Lights Gala out in Drayton Valley. Love Drayton Valley and all of the wonderful people there. So that's a couple of things going on in the community. One thing that happened and another thing that will be happening as well. So the one thing I did want to talk about before we left, your mom, I found a new passion. And maybe it's a bullsheets and it's a good sheets. But it's high-speed chases on television in Los Angeles.
Specifically, is this a channel or a show?
It's just the news. They'll be doing the news like they would on Global and CTV, and all of a sudden they'll say, "Oh, breaking! We got a high speeder!" And all of a sudden, they're joined somebody in a chopper that's following, kind of like the OJ. You don't remember the OJ Simpson slow chase?
I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened
in the white Bronco. I know
25 years ago. That was kind of the idea. But we've seen not one, not two, but three. And we have not watched much television, but every time you watch television, there is somebody ripping down the road 170 miles an hour. And it's crazy because you get here and you can't. There's gridlock everywhere.
Where are they doing this? Because
that's what I said. I said, Karen, we're gridlock everywhere. This is like the Anthony Henday on its worst day all the time. But somehow they get these free areas, and a sad story, the one, but I can't believe we were watching it. But yesterday, they're like, okay, a police officer has been shot. There's a biker that's left the scene. They're following this biker. He's going down the road for probably 10, 15 minutes, and he's trying to elude them, but he's never going to get away because the police chopper, the TV choppers are all flying behind him, and he gets onto a freeway and he's ripping at about 160 kilometers an hour, and you can see him. He pulls out a gun like he's going to try to shoot people on his bike, and this is happening live. And
they're just and how is the news capturing this? A helicopter?
A helicopter and a camera, and the person is nailing it like he's following along. So all of a sudden this biker gets beside a car, and it's a ghost car. It's not a marked police car, but this ghost car just turns right into him, and he just goes flying.
And you're watching this live on the news.
You're watching this live on the news, and he's going like well over 100 miles an hour. So sad, terrible story. The police officer loses his life, the one that he shot, and somehow this guy's in stable condition.
The guy that got caught. Wow.
The guy that flung off his bike, and we saw it live on television. You can't believe it's happening.
I'm not sure that our brains are meant to see those things.
I don't think so.
Especially not multiple times a day.
I don't think so.
Wow. I thought that maybe a high-speed chase happened in LA once a year.
No,
not multiple times a day.
I think it happens more than once a day, and it's just it's must-see TV, I guess. But I agree with you. I'm thinking it was crazy to watch. I'm like, we just saw that happen live, and there was only one way that was. Yeah, there was only one way that was going to end. It was not. Yeah. It was not going to end.
There's no
with
getting
him
away in that
over.
situation.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
So, but that's the difference. Again, when Stacey Woodward's up in Global One, she's not typically showing us that. She's showing us LRT construction.
The sunrise looks nice. Oh, I guess.
It's so
I guess
true.
We should be happy to live in Edmonton as you come home. And yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So
I did
want to mention
before we go, want to also mention the Alberta teachers, because there's been a lot of movement in that recently, and I just want to say that there's the mandate back to work happening this week, and as we talk about Halloween, I think the cruelest joke is being mandated back to work on Halloween week when kids are just going to be, first off, they haven't been in school for weeks. Second off, it's Halloween week. It's just going to be quite a situation to navigate. Obviously, many teachers are excited to see their students, and there's lots of complicated things that are way above my pay grade going on, but Halloween week at school after a strike is really something.
Yeah, no, I agree. For sure. And I think at the end of the day, at least it's the Friday night, so they don't have to deal with the kids the next day after, the candy kids, right? So yeah exactly. Okay. That and again, I hope that this all works out from a teacher standpoint, and we obviously support you, and let's I don't know where it goes from here, but
it's not going in a positive direction. It doesn't seem like. But
I'm not going to say much because I don't know. I don't know what if I don't have I don't have the proper things to say about it, but we support for sure. So that's it, live from Los Angeles, also known as Anaheim. Go Jays, go! Thank you, Scheetz Heads, for putting up with us. It's taken a little bit of time, but we again are we're
trying our best.
We're trying our best. Bailey, thank you for being a great sport. And as you're like, oh no, not this game going so long. Thanks to United Sport and Cycle, Crystal Glass, Londonderry Dodge, Cook County Saloon and Steakhouse, and Weatherwood Ranch. Have a fantastic Halloween, everybody. And one more time, go Jays, go from Los Angeles.
Even when we got nothing to talk about, there's nowhere I'd rather be. 'Cause there's something about you and me just sitting around talking Scheetz.